Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us, our Science and Academic Luncheon, hosted by Boryong and organized by IAF together. Thank you all for joining us today. My name is Jack Lim. I am the head of a new profit investment group at Boryong, and my group and I had a privilege of leading our space initiative called Humans in Space program from the beginning. We started based on our CEO Jay's vision, but down the road we've had such incredible partners, including we have an Axiom Intuitive Machines. But not only that, we have almost like 100 and over 50 institutes have supported our Humans in Space program. And we also successfully finished our Humans in Space final pitch yesterday. So since I have a mic, I'd like to express my sincere gratitude who support our Humans in Space program and Boryong with our incredible partners. So please give us a round of applause for the partners that we support all the ideas. Thank you. And also, I want to express another gratitude for IAF team because it's the first time the Boryong be a member of IAF, and to facilitate all the sessions and every event that we're organizing here is we basically started from the beginning of the year, and we have numerous back and forth with IAF team, but I really appreciate IAF support. Everything makes possible, and please, ladies and gentlemen, please give a round of applause for IAF team as well. Being that said, our IAF representative, Vice President of Science Academic in IAF, Tanja Masunjuan, will have also opening remark for this luncheon session. Thank you very much.
I'll use this. So indeed, welcome to this Science and Academic Day luncheon. On behalf of the International Astronautical Federation, I'm very pleased to welcome you here and kindly sponsored by Boryong, for which we are very grateful. This morning we had a successful breakfast, science and academic breakfast, which focused mostly on the academics, where we had some explanations about student activities and so on. And we're now here to recognize also the relevance of science, which plays a pivotal role in driving exploration and innovation and use of outer space. In this context, the South Korean company Boryong will show us how science combined with international cooperation can lead to great achievements in the field of space. The 2024 Humans in Space from LEO to Moon and Beyond Luncheon keynote, sponsored by Boryong, will highlight that international cooperation and investment in critical space infrastructure to enable multiplanetary human life from LEO to the Moon and beyond. Boryong is a healthcare investment company with a vision to become an indispensable company to enable human presence in space, and it will share its strategic cooperation with key LEO and Moon infrastructure companies present here as well, Axiom Space and Intuitive Machines. Yesterday I was a little bit in the session of the pitches of the teams that were participating in the Humans in Space competition, and it was really fascinating to see all the innovative ideas they came up with, and I look forward to hearing who will take that further and win that competition. So it's my great honor to introduce and call to the stage the CEO of Boryong, Mr. Jay Kim, who will now give his keynote. Thank you.
Thank you, Tanya, for the introduction, and thank you, everyone, for coming to our luncheon. And I understand that this is almost the end of IAC, and I think it's a great time to talk about humans instead of everything else, the infrastructure that we are building around in space. So I really want to take some time to explain what we are trying to do at Boryong through Humans in Space program. So we call ourselves a multi-planetary human life enabler with partnership with companies like Axiom and Intuitive Machines. So I don't think I need any further explanations. SpaceX is building a transportation infrastructures for humanities go beyond the orbit of Earth, and we just saw they are a step closer to making into a reality on the eve of IAC. And there's companies like Axiom, who's trying to build a destination where we can take the transportation and go out to Leo and actually live there. And they are also building the spacesuit, which is in a collaboration with Prada, which will enable us to function as a human in different and hostile environment. And we also have companies like Intuitive Machines, who will be able to send payloads for now, but at the end, humans to the surface of the moon. And with the partnership with companies like this, we want to be the multi-planetary human life enabler. So what we do is we basically want to take care of human aspects, human health, where they can take those transportations and infrastructures to go out to space and thrive. So we started as a small pharmacy. This is a picture taken right after the Korean War, and my grandfather is the founder. And you see in the center of the picture, it says Boryang in Korean. And because we started as a pharmacy, we understand what has been underinvested when it comes to the human health aspect in space. So if you talk about the number of astronauts, if you take out the word astronaut, if you talk about the number of people who has been to space, it's less than 700. And the longest time that they spent was less than 500 days. And the money that is to research what is needed to enable longer time stay in space is quite underinvested compared to what we are doing on Earth to develop a single medicine. So that's where we found an opportunity and value that we can bring to the table. And I always look at this risks by hazard defined by NASA Human Resource Program as our Bible when we first started this 3 years ago. So we know what the problems are, and for sure there will be more, but we know where to start. We know what the problems are, and we just have to focus on how to solve it. So what we are doing, what we have been doing, is somewhat summarized in this one presentation. So we are talking about different places in space, including Earth, low Earth orbit, Moon, and Mars. I couldn't just exclude Mars because not talking about Mars in IAC seemed somewhat obsolete. And we do three things in different places in space. So basically we bring together the problem seekers and also the problem solvers. We saw that through the Humans in Space final pitch day yesterday. And we'll do so every year to raise more problems and solutions to solve them. And the second thing is we want to work together with them to prepare them to launch their payloads or research ideas and return the samples to Earth for analysis and advancement of technology. And third is where we work really closely with our partners, including Axiom and Intuitive Machines, to create and secure the infrastructures that are needed to actually perform those researches. So we started by investing in Axiom, and also we just signed an MOU with Intuitive Machines to do the same on the moon. And we are, honestly speaking, we're not talking to anybody to do the same thing on Mars, but I'm pretty sure that there will be partners available in near future. So this is important because we know that more of us will be going to space more often and further and stay there longer. So we need to be prepared. So let me just end my presentation with this nice, neat drawing from Korean student who we asked to draw what we are trying to do through humans in space. So that's what we got, and I just love this drawing because it kind of lifts up people's head and enable us to look up in the sky instead of looking down through their cell phones. So this is what we're trying to do, and I'm really happy to host this lunch with IAF, Axiom, and Intuitive Machines, and many other partners. So thank you very much for coming. Thank you. And after me, so I really want to, I'm really proud and honored to just introduce my dear friend and partner, Cam Gafarian, for the next presentation. Thank you. Please, Cam.
Thank you so much, Jay. I appreciate it. It's a pleasure to be here. Appreciate all of you being here with us, with Jay and everybody else. I'm really proud to represent two of my companies here, both Axiom Space and Intuitive Machine, co-founder for both of those companies. But I wanted to sort of start with this. I believe the ultimate destiny for humanity is to go to other stars. What is the reason for that? Because the universe is so vast, and we are such very small piece of this. Just our galaxy alone has 400 billion stars in it, and there are 2 trillion galaxies. We are just such a small dot. And I believe that the ultimate destiny for humanity is to go to stars. So how do we start that journey? We start that journey by having a destination 250 miles above Earth, space station, and having presence on the moon, and having presence on the Mars, and become multiplanetary, and eventually become interstellar. So with that, I just wanted to share with you something that I shared when we had the historic mission of launching Nova C to the moon, which was incredibly historic for me as a space cadet. And this is what I shared as a keynote speak to the group that were at Kennedy Space Center. Let's just sort of imagine where we're going to be in 20, 30, 35 years from now. Okay? Here's what I predicted. That maybe about 30 years from now, we will have hourly launches to a space city outside Earth. Hourly launches. And maybe we have daily launches to the moon with having a presence on the moon, habitat. And maybe weekly launches to Mars, again, by having habitat on Mars. And here's the one that for me is a big deal. And maybe quarterly launches outside our solar system to other missions. So with that, I wanted to just very quickly talk about Axiom Space, since for now I'm an interim CEO at Axiom. Just an incredible company where we're building the first private commercial space station. This is a picture of our first 3 missions and also astronaut for AX4. We're training those astronauts today. Pretty incredible. We have astronauts from Poland, from Hungary, from India, and Peggy Whitson, the legendary astronaut that has done more space time than any other American, is going to be our commander in that mission. We're very proud of all these missions and looking forward to have future missions to International Space Station and eventually to our own station. I just wanted to give you a little progress of all the stuff that we're doing. I was just recently in Torino, Italy. And this is my picture inside our HAB1 module. A lot of hardware being built. It's incredible. And I was really delighted to participate in that. We are looking by the end of 2026 to launch our module and connect to the current International Space Station, and eventually have additional modules being launched on a regular basis. My vision is that we will get to the point of maybe launching 1 or 2 modules per year and build this incredible Axiom station. So we're working with, this is a picture of what we believe our space station is going to look like. And we're currently working with many space agencies around the world. We've already taken astronauts from Canada. We've taken, of course, astronauts from the United States, from Israel, from Saudi Arabia, from United Arab Emirates, from Italy, from Turkey for the first astronaut ever. And we're going to continue to do that, and again, building our modules. I am unveiling this thing underneath. This is our new slogan, Transcend Earth. This is sort of what I told you about, really beginning of the journey for us to be interstellar. You all have seen our unveiling of our spacesuit. I hope you all enjoyed it. Has everyone seen the Axiom spacesuit outside in the hall? Really excited. We are the only provider for Artemis providing these spacesuits. And the next time you see astronaut walking on the surface of the moon, they will be wearing Axiom spacesuit. We're also going to be developing LEO spacesuits very quickly as well. Transcend Earth. That's what Axiom Space is all about. I'm delighted to be here. Thank you so much. And with that, I'll introduce my dear friend, Tim Crane from Intuitive Machines.
Good afternoon. The good news is lunch is next. The bad news is you have to listen to me before you get a chance to eat. So we'll go through that. Intuitive Machines was founded in 2013 as a think tank. Steve Altimus and Cam and myself had a vision to take the engineering techniques, the engineering approaches that we used in spaceflight and tackle some of the most challenging problems that face humanity. We worked in biomedical, we worked in energy, we worked in environmental problems. And for 5 years, we worked on incredibly challenging problems. We flew a autonomous drone in Antarctica. We identified where oil leaks were seeping in the Gulf of Mexico to help with stopping that pollution. But we didn't fall in love with any of the projects. And then we had an opportunity in 2018 to participate in NASA's Commercial Lunar Payload Services program. This is an evolution of the procurement model that you see in many space agencies where they've moved to more and more commercial engagement. In the case of NASA, we had commercial cargo to ISS, then commercial crew. Now we're doing Commercial Lunar Payload Services, or CLPS, as we call it. The only problem was we didn't have the funding on hand to really jump in and pursue an area that we thought we'd be quite successful at. And I have to give credit to my partner, Cam Gafarian, for saying, absolutely make that leap. The vision that he has for moving forward into the stars was consistent with the faith he showed in us to say, let's make this first step as well. So going from a company of approximately 30 people, over the past 5 years, we've grown to over 450 people. And we're the first and only commercial company to land on the moon in February of this year. There are a number of I promise you, it was a singular moment in all of our lives. We're going back in January with our next mission. And there are a number of other commercial companies that are attempting the same act. So we will see a wave of lunar development. We're proud to be a part of that. We have won 4 of the 9 CLPS awards. So we've been very successful with that. Our most recent one I'll talk about in a moment. But there's really 3 pillars to what we're doing in the cislunar space. It's easy to look at a lunar landing, as magnificent as that accomplishment is, and think of Intuitive Machines as a lunar lander company. We're really a cislunar transportation and logistics company. And it does definitely include transportation to the lunar surface, but our other 2 pillars include communications out to lunar distance and in the vicinity of the moon, and autonomous surface operations. So our upcoming missions include IM-2, 3, and 4. IM-2 will launch in January and land on the Shackleton Ridge, much closer to the South Pole. IM-1 landed 9.9 degrees from the South Pole. Humanity has been incrementally moving closer and closer with each lander we've sent lately. We hold the record for closest right now, a record we hope to break in January when we land within just a few kilometers of the Shackleton crater. That mission will carry 3 critical experiments. One is the Prime 1 drill package from NASA, which will look for volatiles and signatures of water in the tailings as it drills. The other is a rover that carries a Nokia 4G LTE experiment and demonstration. So we'll put the first cellular mesh network on another planet in cooperation with Nokia. And then we have our Micronova hopper. You can see it kind of in the corner of IM-2. It is a rocket-powered drone which will hop off of the Nova C lander and into a permanently shadowed region. So we're beginning to demonstrate extreme mobility for sensor systems. We actually have 2 European payloads on the hopper. We have a pyrometer from DLR and a neutron spectrometer. My chief scientist is right there, so I have to be very careful. We have a neutron spectrometer from Hungary and the Napoli Corporation. So we'll make the first measurements inside of a permanently shadowed region early next year. IM-3 will land at the Reiner Gamma magnetic swirl. It's a magnetic anomaly on the moon. We're not sure how it's formed. We'll carry 3 rovers for NASA on that mission. And then IM-4, which we recently won, is a very exciting mission for us because it will be a return to the South Pole. On that mission, we're flying the European Prospect drill, and we felt uniquely suited for that mission because it was very similar to what we're doing on IM-2. But let's take a different drilling technology. Let's demonstrate that drill. The concept for us of beginning to do repeat exploration at the moon is a critical step for us to begin looking at really developing capabilities in a sustainable way at the moon and not just taking one-shots in different locations. Another project that we're quite proud of is the Lunar Terrain Vehicle. We're developing a 1,500 kilogram rover that will 1 month out of the year be crewed with Artemis astronauts. And then the other 11 months it'll operate robotically. The thing that's unique about our Lunar Terrain Vehicle architecture is you may think of an analog to a tractor on a farm, where a working farm has one tractor, which is the mobility and the power plant, but then you have diskers, fertilizers, planters, mowers, a variety of equipment that you hook onto that tractor. The LTV is very similar. It provides mobility and power to a trailer system, which can carry 800 kilograms that will move around and begin building up work sites. So the same lander that we'll develop called Nova D to deliver LTV then can bring 2 fully loaded trailers, and we begin to move from a one launch, one mission type of a philosophy at the moon to a one-to-many. If I have persistent assets at the moon, if I have trailers that carry survive through the night and communication technology so I can use those assets for years and not weeks, how do we begin thinking about utilizing and developing lunar resources? We are proud to be presenting today our Nebula Orbit Transfer Stage. One of the neat features about the Nova C that we landed on the moon in February is if you take the landing systems off of it, it's the world's only flight-certified liquid upper stage for a Falcon 9 rocket. And so with that system, we can provide high-energy transportation for science and communication satellites as well. And then in line with Jay's vision for bringing samples and materials back, we're working on the Zephyr return vehicle, which will bring up to 25 kilograms back from the lunar surface. One thing that I don't have up here is something that's very important to us is the Near Space Network Systems, Network Services, another commercial evolution from NASA. We won the Lunar Communications and Navigation Relay Service for that. So in 2026, we'll deploy our first comm and nav satellite. Very keen on making those satellites fully interoperable with the Moonlight program for ESA and other communication satellites according to the LunarNet standards. So whether you need transportation to the moon, communications at the moon, or mobility on the surface of the moon, Intuitive Machines is the provider to enable science, biomedical research, to enable in situ resource utilization and building up the capability for us to fully utilize and develop the moon. Very proud to be here with my partners, Jay and Cam, and it's quite the journey. I talked to a number of people around the conference, and there was a sentiment 5-10 years ago that perhaps we had all missed the boat by not being active in our careers during the Apollo era, that was the golden era of when humanity was going out beyond Earth orbit and doing exciting things. I would offer to all of us, whether we're just beginning our career or we're getting towards slowing down a little bit, this is absolutely the best time to be involved in space exploration and space development. And our days of humanity and exploration are only going to get better, and our best days are in front of us. Please enjoy your lunch, and let's shoot for the stars. Thank you.